Yeah, I thought you were about to say this, but no.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what the heck we do when they give you points that are so far away. Because if I give you the number for 2 and the number for space 3, you can find that common difference. But in this one, in this example, they give you space 9 is 1,324, and then they don't give you a number until space 25. That is a huge gap. You can't just subtract the 2. So, because this is a linear model, we can find the slope, the rise over the run. So, remember back in Math 1 when you were taught y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? That's what we're going to do here to find your d value.
Okay.
So, d equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Your values that fit into the spaces are your y's. So, this is y sub 1, this is y sub 2. What do you think our x values are then?
25.
9 and 25. Good. So 9 is your x1, 25 is your x2. So to find your d value, you would take 2,684 minus 1,324 divided by 25 minus 9.
I got a question.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what you put as y1 or x1 or y2.
No, you can also do this as 1,324 minus 2,684. But if you do it this way, 9 has to come first and 25 has to come second.
Okay.
And it gives you the same exact thing.
Okay,
So
x1 and y1 will always be together.
yes, they have to be paired together. Okay, so this can be 1 or this can be 1. It doesn't matter, but keep the 9 and the 1,324 together as 1 for x and y, and keep the other one together as 2. So if you want to plug this in all at once, this must go in parentheses and this must go in parentheses. Or you can do the top, get an answer, do the bottom, get an answer, and then divide. Okay, so what'd you get for the top when you subtracted, Trey?
1360.
What'd you get for the bottom?
16.
When you divide the two?
85.
So D is 85.
Oh, yeah. What?
That's it? That's the slope.
Okay, that's your slope. You know what? In your calculator? Yeah, double check yourself. Okay. The other thing it's asking for is the seed. So they want P sub 0. So you can literally go and start here and subtract 85 until you get to 0. Or
do 85 times 9.
no.
Right? No.
So remember, we've got A sub n equals. Actually, that's not going to work.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like,
Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay. A sub 1 plus n minus 1, and we know your d value is 85. Okay.
How you get the common difference?
We already found your common difference. That's what 85 was. We are trying to find your seed, the P sub 0. That's what we're trying to find right now. We're trying to find P sub 0. So we need to use this equation first to find your first term, and then we can subtract 85 to find that term. So what we do here is we have points. We know that 9 is at what? 1,000. Okay. So at 9, we're at 1,324, or at 25, we are at 2,684. So we can use one of these points to substitute in. So A sub n would be replaced with one of your y values, either one. I always pick the smaller numbers because I don't like to deal with big numbers. So 1,324. we don't know what a sub 1 is, plus, well, 1,324, we're in space 9. So my n value is a 9. So what's 9 minus 1 times 85?
A number.
A number.
Like 680.
Okay, it's 680. So then we subtract 680 from both sides, and we get what? Another number.
644.
Okay, so that tells me a sub 1 is 644. They're actually asking for the seed, so we need to go one more space back. So we take that and subtract off your common difference. So we subtract off 85. We're what? 559. So P sub 0 is 559.
That's it?
That's it. Okay, so what you're going to find here is what we're doing today is going to be easy, but they are long steps that you're not going to like. So it's not that you can't do it. You're not going to want to do it because it takes a little bit longer. It's not quite as fast as yesterday.
If we take one, we should have a rest period to work on homework.
When we're done, yeah, you get it. So here, they want us to find the explicit formula and then the 8th generation. So the first thing I need to find is my D value. So we do your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what would you like to subtract in the top? 397 minus 322, which means in the bottom, I have to do 27 minus 12. So that's 75 over 15, which is what? Your D value is 5. Okay, so then we need to find your explicit formula. So again, that's A sub n equals A sub 1 plus n minus 1 times D, which you just found is 5. Well, in order to use this formula, I need to know what A sub 1 is. So we've got to plug one of those points in and solve. So you can pick either one of them. Which one do you want? 322. So we start 322 here. Whoops, that should be equals. Equals A sub 1 plus my n value is 12 times 5. Okay, so 12 minus 1 is 11 times 5 makes this 55. And we have to subtract 55 from both sides. So what is A sub 1? You said what? 267. We're not quite done yet.
35 or 55?
So my actual equation then is A sub n equals 267, because I just found out what A sub 1 is, plus n minus 1 times 5. It wants the 8th generation. So all we need to do now is plug in 8 for n and get your answer. 267 plus n minus 1 times 5.
302.
Said what?
302. What are we trying to find out?
Okay. The 8th generation, which means your n value is an 8.
Okay, I just got.
Okay. Stop, look at it, decide where you're lost. Talk to me.
Well, so you did 12. Okay, I did 12 and I got 267 too.
Okay.
Then where's, okay, after you got 267.
Okay. So, well, after I get 267, I now need to rewrite my equation with 267 here. So that's all I did. This is the same equation, but instead of having a sub 1, I now have 267 because that goes in. Okay? So this is your actual explicit formula. Now they want us to find the 8th generation, so you need to plug 8 in for n and get your final answer.
So we didn't need to subtract 5 from 267.
No.
Okay, so why not? Because we did that in the first.
So we're trying to find 0, like the starting point.
Yeah, you were trying to find the starting point after a sub 1. You good? Okay.
I got a question. You already
Yes.
have the 8. Where'd you get the 8 from?
Top of the question.
Because you're looking for the.
Because you're looking for the 8th generation.
Oh,
So that just tells you plug in 8.
for B, we already have the 8.
Fantastic, but you still need the explicit formula. So, Marcus just said, they're asking for the 8th generation. Well, guess what? They gave it to you. So, you don't need to do this last step then. They already gave it to you. But I need to get here. I need this equation here. So, we still need to find our D value. What are we subtracting in the top?
408 minus 24.
408 minus 24. Divided by then.
8 minus 32.
8 minus 32. So we get what in the top
384.
and what in the bottom? Okay. So D actually equals what? Okay. So your D value is a negative this time, which means my series is doing what?
Going.
Decreasing.
It's decreasing. Okay. It's going down. Which you can clearly see. If my 8th number is 408 and my 32nd number is 24, it's clearly going down. So now we've got a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times negative 16. In order to finish my explicit formula, I need to find a sub 1. Which point would you like to plug in this time?
24.
32
Yeah,
and
the
24?
Yeah.
Okay. So a sub n is 24, because that's your y value, equals a sub 1 plus 32 minus 1 times negative 16. So 32 minus 1 times negative 16 gives me what over here?
496.
You said 496?
Yeah.
Negative, right?
Yeah.
Negative 496. So when I move it to the other side, I actually have to add it. So a sub 1 is,
520.
so then your last step is to replace a sub 1 with 520. So your final equation is a sub n is 520 plus n minus 1 times negative 16.
Whoa.
Okay. Try the last one on your own. Try this last one on your own.
It seemed like Saturday would be a little busy day. I'm grateful for it. I will be happy. I will be. I swear, if they hire me, and nobody will have a job. Yeah, but I didn't put Sonic because every other sometimes Sonic on here and all Sonic.
What now?
That's why I've never got it. Sonic got me a job. That's why I'm like.
I've been trying to find.
I just put that I work at my mom's. That's what I did.
Man.
I need more big bird. She do. No, she just. But the benefit was she paid me extra money.
Okay. It's a good turnout. Then what? A solely? Nah, he wouldn't know how to spell it.
You work on it. Let me know when you get it back.
I'm never gonna get this.
Like
I'm
the
gonna
soup?
get it, but this
Yeah.
is
Hold on, let me see.
P, P,
Yeah.
Pozole.
P, O.
Yup.
soup is
It is.
Why do you want to know how to spell it?
How do you not like soup?
that is disgusting.
Especially for someone.
That's what I'm saying, but not all soup.
Right.
Especially since you like
I love that. The beef noodles?
Yes. Honestly, a little bit of
Vegetable soup, beef soup.
Yeah.
With what?
Basically,
What? Too much.
vegetable soup, vegetable soup.
Peace.
Who got me a D value?
Me.
Yeah,
217.
217.
217. Wow, then I messed up. Wait,
I got
what?
to 17 too.
Everybody at 217.
Yes.
If you did not, let me know. I will come look at what you did.
Messed up, that's all.
Did you figure it out
I
though?
just skipped the calculation.
Okay. So now you start with A sub n equals A sub 1 plus n minus 1 times 217. You plug in one of those numbers and solve it. What did we get for A sub 1?
8,000.
8,239. Okay, so your final equation then should have been A sub n equals 8,239 plus n minus 1 times 217. Then we need to find the 8th generation, so we need to plug in 8. So A sub 8 actually equals what?
9,700.
Fantastic. Question. Okay, that was the tail end of part 1. The last thing we need to do in this section is I'm going to tell you how to take a list of a list of numbers that create a sequence and add them all up. Instead of sitting there. Okay, so normally you would have to sit there and go 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. Takes too long. So they give you this lovely formula here. Okay, I need you to not get confused though. So A sub 1 here is the first number of the sequence. Okay, so even though it's A sub 1 and normally you would look at that second number, you're not. You're looking at the first number that they give you. Plus A sub n. So this is the last number in the sequence. And n is going to represent the number of terms you have. Once we start using it, it will all start to make sense. Okay, the first number of your sequence plus the last number times how many numbers you have divided by 2 is your equation that they are going to give you on your final exam. So we start here. This tells you that P sub 0 is 25 and P sub 100 is 1,725. They want us to add up the numbers that go from P sub 0 to P sub 100. Okay, so what's my first number? What is P sub 0? 25. Plus, what's P sub 100? 1,725. How many numbers are there if we go from 0 to 100?
100.
101.
101.
Whoa.
Okay, so the way I tell them to do this, so you never ever mess it up. The last one I'm adding is 100 minus the first number I'm adding is 0 plus 1. That will always give you your end value every time, no matter what you're doing. Okay, so whatever your last number is, if that's number 200, you would take 200 minus, if your first number was 100, you would subtract 100 from it and add 1 every time. So we actually have 101 terms here divided by 2. Plug it in. It's as simple as that.
It's not simple.
You're going to have issues when they don't give us our last number, or if they don't tell you how many terms we have.
I got 88,000.
And you are correct. 88,375. So if we add up all of the numbers in that series that start at P sub 0 and go clear up to P sub 100, its total is 88,375.
375.
So part B.
I don't even understand what we just found. What is that? What is that number even supposed to represent?
The sum of all the numbers that are listed between P sub 0 and P sub 100. So, for instance, Marcus, if I gave you a series that looks like this, you could sit here and add them all up. Okay? But that takes a long time, especially if I'm going to the 100th term. Or you can use this equation. Okay? Does the same thing.
I think I'm gonna stick with the equation.
Okay. P sub 0 is 700 and P sub 20 is 560. They want us to add up the numbers from P sub 0 to P sub 20. So what's my first number? What's my second number? Or my last number, 560? And how many numbers do I have there? 21. Again, 20 or minus 0 plus 1. So there are 21 numbers there. And divide that by 2.
So whenever it's P sub 0, always add 1.
It's every time.
Oh, it's every time?
So even when we get to here, I'll show you. Okay. So you said 1,000, no, sorry, 13,000. 230. Okay. C. Uh-oh.
We have to find it.
They tell me P sub 0 is 23, and they tell me that D is 7. They want us to add up the 100th number in the series, clear up to the 999. It is not impossible. Okay, first off, do they give us the number for P sub 100?
No.
No. Did they give us the one for P sub 99? No. We've got to find it. Oh, no.
No.
So, in order to find that, I need to get the explicit formula first. So, A sub n. What is A sub 1 here? 30. Good. Remember, it's always the second number in the series. So this is 30. If I started at 23, my D is 7, you add 7 to get that number.
Wait, so A sub 1 is 30 now, but if we were doing it on this equation,
It would be 23. That's why I said I hate the fact that they do that, because it's confusing. Plus, ignore it because it's going to confuse you. N minus 1 times 7. So the first thing I need to find is what number goes here. What is P sub 100? So we're going to plug in 100. Minus 1 times 7.
Oh, I was about to say 700.
20,790.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, hang on.
That was 1,000.
723.
723. I also need to find what happens at 999. So 30 plus 999 minus 100 or 1 times 7.
7,000.
You said 7,016. Okay. So now, what's The first number that I'm trying to put together is P sub 100, which you just found out was 723. Plus, the last number I'm trying to add is 999, which is 7,016. How many numbers do I have that go between the two? So, the formula still works here, Trey. My last number that I'm trying to add together is in space 999. The first number I'm trying to do is the 100th number.
So it's gonna
Plus 1. So when I subtract that, 999 minus 100 is 899. Plus 1 is 900. So there are 900 numbers that I'm trying to add together.
No, it's not.
That's all.
3,482,500.
I mean, I've been getting the answer. I just work slower than y'all.
That's fine.
That looks like interesting.
No.
In about 20 years.
Leave. Moving that over.
I didn't even like time.
What?
Hell no.
You're not speaking English.
He never does.
Notes.
Give it up.
Listen, you're not as good as Trey. Give it up.
No, I never will.
Anybody still need this up?
Also doing second best.
President. All right. So proud.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's okay.
Is that it?
Okay,
So
so-
we going on.
So we're gonna.
I messed up somewhere. Because I did 723 or 76.
That's not parentheses.
What?
So what it did is multiply this and then go back to
I got somebody else.
Look at you. You don't go.
plus 7,016, close it, times 900, and then divided by 2.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'll get that.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Issues with your calculator? Isn't getting this answer? Need some help? Okay. So, what in the world do I do if they give me the first number, they tell me how many terms, but they don't tell me what the last number is?
Yeah.
Do you cry? So, what's my first number that I'm trying to add?
5.
5.
Plus 12.
Plus, they don't tell me what the last number is. They want me to do the first 1,000 terms. So my end value here is 1,000 divided by 2. I need to find out what this number is before I can continue. So in order to do that, we have to go back to that a sub n. So I need to find the explicit formula, just like you did in the last problem, where you found it, and then you plugged in 100, and then you plugged in 999. We're going to do the same thing here. So this starts out as 12 plus n minus 1 times 7. Okay, my numbers are going up by 7. So my d value here is a 7.
How come that n wouldn't be 1001?
Because it tells you the first 1,000 terms. Watch what's going to happen. Hold on.
Wait. Why you use 12 instead of 5?
Because remember, it's a sub 1, which is the second number in the series.
Okay.
Because remember, your series always starts P sub 0, P sub 1, P sub 2. So it's always going to be the second number.
If you would answer that question 3 seconds later, I would.
Okay, so normally when you find out how many terms you have, you add 1, correct, to get this number? So we've already technically added 1, which means when I plug it in here to find what that number is, I need to do what?
Subtract 1.
Subtract 1.
Oh, why? But I just said it.
So, hold on. So normally we would go P sub 0 the whole way to P sub 999, correct? And this is 1,000 terms. Okay, so you would have done 999 minus 0 plus 1, which gave you 1,000. So you're actually trying to find, when you're trying to find the 1,000 term, it's actually the 999th spot. So when I plug it in here, this is 12 plus 999 minus 1 times 7.
I kind of get it, but I feel like I'm gonna forget it.
I feel like, yeah, once the time comes, I'm not gonna be able to remember all of this and apply it to the test.
Then I'm gonna break down the.
Oh, will we have a note card for this test?
You get a formula sheet. You are getting the formula sheet that you will have for your finals. That is what I'm giving you. So on there, you're going to be given the A sub n formula, and you'll also be given this formula here. Okay.
Did you divide that by 2?
So when I plug this in, what do we get?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't hear anything when a bunch of you want to have conversation while somebody's trying to give me an answer. What is the answer for this? 6,998. Okay. When I plug in this, what is the sum of all of these numbers in this series? It is a big number this time.
$3,501,500.
Fantastic. 3,501,500.
You didn't divide by 2 yet.
I was working out loud.
He's like, I was working out loud.
Yeah, I got that.
Hey, for this next one, same thing. They give us your first number, they tell you how many terms they want, but they don't give you the last one. So this would start as 5 plus. We don't know what that number is. And we want the first 200 terms. So I need to find my explicit formula first. A sub n equals 16 plus n minus 1 times. What's it going up by? 11. Okay, they want the first 200 terms, which means my last term is term what?
199.
199. 16 plus 199 minus 1 times 11. Ready to get it this time?
Wait a minute. 2,204.
I forgot the number.
2,194.
2,194. Let me see. It's probably a simple thing that you just missed putting in the chat.
Did you put the plus sign?
You forgot your plus
Yeah,
in
a lot of
between there
times.
in the parentheses.
A lot of times I forget mine.
See what you did.
Yeah, you forgot your parentheses.
I got that.
Well, you forgot your parentheses with the minus 1. You didn't take 1 away from the 199. Okay. When I plug that in, what is my sum of all of these numbers that go from 5 to 2,194?
Okay, that's right. Wait, never mind.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. These are the last type of problems that I need to teach you how to deal with. So we're still sticking with the same formulas, but this time they tell you what the first number is, they tell you what the last number is, but they don't tell me how many numbers are in between. So now I need to figure out what that is. So we start this out as 4, that's my first number, plus 922, that's my second number. I don't know what this is, but I know I need to divide it by 2.
I assume we use the AN.
We are going to use that AN formula again. AN equals 13 plus n minus 1 times, what's it going up by?
9.
It's going up by 9. Okay. I need to find what place value 922 is. I want to know this is P sub what? So what I need to do is you're going to take 922 and plug it in for A sub n and solve. 922 equals 13 plus n minus 1 times 9.
What is A sub n represent again?
A sub n is like whatever you're trying to find. So if you're trying to find like P sub 7, you're trying to, A sub n is the base of P sub 7. So technically we're supposed to be using P's now because we're talking population, but it's the same thing as n or A. Okay, so don't be confused. So if you're trying to find P sub 7, you're actually trying to find A sub 7. Okay. So what's my first step? I need to get n by itself.
Distribute 9.
Don't even worry about that because you're going to just undistribute it later.
Got it.
Subtract 13.
Subtract the 13. So watch the shortcut I give you here. So we subtract this. What's 922 minus 13?
909.
Equals n minus 1 times 9. So normally you were taught to distribute this. Well, we just need to get rid of it. So if it's being multiplied, we need to divide by 9. So we get 101 equals n minus 1.
So
Add 1. So n equals 102. So this number right here is P sub 102. So if I'm going from P sub 0 to P sub 102, how many numbers do I actually have?
103.
103.
Whoa.
I like that.
Where's the 103 coming from?
Yeah, what about you?
102 minus 0 plus 1. Just like we did with the last ones, okay? Gives you 103. So when you plug in the summation formula, we end up with what? What is the sum of the number, the 103 numbers that go from 4 to 922?
47,689.
47,680.
Yeah.
You and me both sunshine. Good. Okay, let's try a couple more of these ones. So, my first number in my series is 17. My last number is 1,511. I don't know how many numbers are there, but I know I need to divide that by 2. So, A sub n equals 23 plus n minus 1 times, what's my D value here? 6. Again, my job is to find out what place is this number sitting in. This is P sub what? So we're going to plug that in here. 1,511 equals 23 plus n minus 1 times 6. Okay, so what's my first step?
Minus 23.
Subtract 23 from both sides, and we get what? 1488 equals n minus 1 times 6. Divide by 6.
248.
248 equals n minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. So 249 is n. So that means this is p sub 249. And again, if I'm going from 0 to 249, that's actually 250 numbers. So I'm plugging in 250.
I ain't get that first subtraction to the end.
191,000.
191,000
Dollars.
I wish.
Yeah, right.
You walk, if you go into the bank, right? You leave, like, you go into the bank, get the money. You leave the bank, right? And it's like a card. I might like a duffel bag right beside your card. And you got a lot of money in it.
Skirt. The honest person in me would turn it into the police station. The greedy side of me would take it and run.
I'm taking
I'll
it
just
going,
take
bro.
some.
If it's right next to my car, that's too easy.
Right.
Right, it's like you gifted it to me.
Right.
Somebody left it there. That's my magical birthday present.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you for being my friend and giving me some money. Thank you. Okay, so B, they tell me the first number in my series is 8,012. My last number in my series is 6,075. It's going down. Okay, so A sub n equals 7,999 plus n minus 1, and it's going down. So what is my d value? Negative 13. Again, our job is to find out what space does 6,075 fall into. So 6075 equals 7,999 plus n minus 1 times negative 13. So my first step, we subtract. What do I get when I subtract 7,999? You said 1,924? Negative. Equals n minus 1 times negative 13. We must divide now by negative 13. 148 equals n minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, so 149 equals n. So my series is now going from spot 0 to spot 149, which means I have a total of how many numbers? 150.
150. 150.
Oh, my bad.
I'm going to bring him in a drum.
I got it.
Do you have a drum at home?
1 million.
1,056,525.
This is easy.
That's what I mean. It's not that it's difficult. There's a lot of steps and there's a lot of chances of making mistakes.
Right.
Finally, my last one. My series starts at 6 and we end at 363. I still don't know how many numbers I have. So A sub n equals
27.
27 plus n minus 1 times 21. Okay, so I need to know where 363 goes. Whoops, I forgot my plus sign. Look, Trey, I'm doing what you do in your calculator.
I do.
Okay, bro.
Okay, so your first step is going to be to subtract 27 from both sides. That leaves me with what? 36? 336 equals n minus 1 times 21. Get rid of that 21 by dividing. 16 equals n minus 1. So we add 1. So 17 equals n. So we're going from the 0 spot to the 17th spot. How many numbers is that? 18. So I plug in 18 here. $3,321. Two word problems. You can see where we actually may use this in real life. Ah, boring. Never boring. Your butt hurts?
Yes. Let's see this put against the teachers.
All of our hands are hurt.
Okay, word problem number 1. We have an auditorium with 20 total rows of seats. So you've got all these rows of seats. Okay, it tells me my first row has 20 seats, my second row has 21, 22, so on and so forth. They want to know, what is the seating capacity of the auditorium? How many total seats do I have? So, what's my first number? 20. What's my last number? We don't know. We can find it. How many total rows do I have to add up? 20. Divided by 2. So, I need to figure out, what is this? Yes, do your A sub n equation. Okay, but this is going from P sub 0 to P sub 17. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 17. So
Do we even have to
17,
put the
the
ones
last
in
number
there?
we'll catch,
Just going
minus
up
the
by
first
one,
number,
right? So it's
plus 1.
not gonna affect anything whether it's multiplying or dividing. Okay.
Because
Oh,
technically,
okay.
the numbers that go from 1 to 17 are 17.
Start with.
When I throw in that 0, that gives you that extra seat.
At
Does
the
that
end
make
of
sense?
the one, it's only going up at one.
Okay,
So we've got A sub n equals what?
21.
21 plus n minus 1
One.
times 1. It's only going up by 1.
I don't even have to put that there.
You don't really. Technically, no. That 1 does not need to be there. When you multiply by 1, it does what?
Nothing.
Nothing. It stays the same. So while you can write it, you really don't need to do anything with it. Okay, so I'm looking at the 20th. I have 20 total rows. So that goes from 0 to what?
21.
I have 20 total. So that goes from 0
to 19.
to 19. So we're plugging in 19 here.
Got it.
No. Like I can do
Okay,
it now.
so-
I was by myself.
Let me see you if I can catch you here. So if I have, all right, let's actually go back to that. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. How many total numbers is that?
6.
This is 6 numbers. Okay. This is P sub 0, P sub 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that make sense now? Why it goes up by 1? Because 1 through 5 is 5 total, and when you put that P sub 0 on, that throws an extra number in there. So from 0 to 19 is actually 20 total rows.
Because you're counting.
Did that help a little bit?
Yeah.
So when we plug this in, what do we get for A sub n?
well, 39.
39. There's 39 seats in my last row.
590.
560? Or is it 590?
It might be 560.
I don't remember. It's 5 something. No, you're right. 590. I remember it being 5 something. So there are 590 seats in the auditorium. You can fit 590 people in to see a show. Unfortunately, our auditorium doesn't do that, so you can't use this formula for it.
Which is ours called.
How many
Honestly, I
seats?
don't know.
Oh.
There's probably a sign somewhere down there because normally they have to show how many the seat capacity is for like the fire department and that kind of stuff.
It's 7.
How many students does this school have right now?
520.
I know
Not
there's,
a lot.
I know there's 200.
I got 5.
There's like
There's
200 and some.
for seniors.
I will tell you this, I graduated in a class of 570 something.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
class had
right.
like 900 people.
You get some really, this is a very small school, so, and then the school that I did my student teaching in, their senior class was 66 kids.
What?
66.
when I graduation was about an
A lot of people that's
hour
going.
Right.
It was
Not even
beautiful.
past through,
Okay, I got a
senior
question.
school.
Yes,
I got 590 instead of 560.
it's 590.
Oh, okay.
It's 590.
Okay. Well,
He's
then
like, wait a second, I got 590. Okay, so last one. We've got a small business and they're selling $10,000 worth of products during its first year of business. The owner has set an annual goal for increased sales at $7,500 for 19 years. So that means each year we're gaining $7,500.
So that's what D is.
That's your D value. Good. So D equals 7,500. Okay. Assuming that the goal is met, find the total sales that they had within those first 20 years of business. So what's my first number? 10,000. What's my last number? We don't know. But how many years is this going on total? 20 divided by 2. So I need to go back to my explicit equation. A sub n. What value goes in for a sub 1 here?
17,500. No.
17,500. Okay, so your P sub 0 was 10,000. Your D value is 7,500. So the next number in line is 17,500. So that is your A sub 1. Plus n minus 1 times 7,500. That's my D value. So we've got a total of 20 years going on. So that goes from P sub 0 to P sub 19. So we're plugging in 19 here. Yes. So give me the value for the last year.
210,000.
No.
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 Oh, snap. Did you put the plus? No, I'll put 75,000.
Oh, instead of 7,500.
Yep.
No.
It'd be 152,500.
152,500.
Did I?
Oh, good.
Oh, I put 7. I put 7.
You put that instead of the 1 in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else having issues getting this answer? Okay. You see what you did? Okay. So be careful. So my last number in that last year, he's going to make $152,500. So when we do the sum, we want to find out how much money he has made in 20 years. How much money has he walked away with? That's what this is going to tell us. So when we plug this in, what is my final answer?
1,530,000.
I did too. 1,625,000.
Can we?
1,062.
Oh,
You fire, bro.
who else did not get it? Michael?
Bro, proud of myself.
Oh,
Let me feel it.
You did?
yeah.
Figure out what you did yet?
Always me.
I was getting this stuff right.
You can't multiply that first and then add. It's in parentheses, which means that needs to be done first. That's not gonna work that time. Okay, questions or problems? Okay, you have that worksheet.